minus 50 seconds. T minus 40 seconds. T minus 30 seconds. T minus 20 seconds. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet.
What's up, guys? Whew. Let me just be honest. This Monday feels like a Friday already. I'm struggling, but thank you guys for joining. My name is TK Trinidad. We are here with Women's Wrestling Talk. We are talking what it's like to be Black female and a wrestler today at the last day of Black History Month. I am so excited to have these ladies on. I'm going to have them introduce themselves because they do amazing things, but I'll be chiming in. But I'm going to first go to my right, to my amazing co-host for the day.
Hello, it's me, Ayla. I'm here. Thank you, ladies, so much for joining us. I'm so excited for this.
And let's go to Renee.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm excited.
And let's go Vanity.
Hey guys, I'm Vanity. Thank you for having me.
And Miss MJ. Oh, frozen again?
MJ.
I think the internet in Florida. But while we wait till she gets back, it's MJ. All these ladies are amazing wrestlers. For you guys who did see the picture, Kiera is on a road trip, so she won't be able to join us. But let's get into it. First off, let's talk about your experience kind of hopping into or becoming a wrestler, wanting to become a wrestler. Because I feel like just recently, maybe the last 5 years, you're seeing more people that are you're seeing more women. That's one. Because I remember there's a lot of conversations where people are like, I was the only woman in my class. So you're seeing more women. So that's one. But what about, being a woman of color starting in wrestling? So what was you guys' experience like?
Oh my. Okay, I'll just start. So I was the first girl out of the Wrestle Pro school. And honestly, when I got into school, I didn't know that women could do this. I didn't know that there was a wrestling school. And I was always pretty athletic. I was always down with the boys, always a tomboy style. But I was just, when I got very acclimated with getting into the ring and the business process, I was just always wondering, are there girls like me around here? Like, hello? Is anybody going to teach me this? Do I have to network by myself? I had more questions behind the scenes, you know what I'm saying? And I didn't know who to go to. But yeah, there was just more questions coming on as I was getting more acclimated with the sport and falling more in love with it. I just wanted to find my sisters, you know what I mean? And I know it's a competition, but deep down in your heart, you're just like, are there people like me? I listen to rock music. I'm very eclectic. I'm very weird. I'm very out there. So when I met, I think the first ethnic person that I really, really met was Renee at Bombshells. And I was just like, hi, very nice, welcoming. And then I met Sumi. And then, there was other girls that I could talk to and be like, hey, you're not dumb. We're out here. Trust me. When you're not dumb, you can do this. Just stay hard. Girls that just really want to help, even if it's just a sentence or, hey, how's your day going? Because, this can be a catty business. But I was just wondering if, I can find girls just like me. And I found them.
What about you, Renee?
Oh gosh. Well, when I started, I wasn't a wrestling fan. I didn't know anything about wrestling or the world of wrestling. I never really watched it. I know like I have always walked past it because I had like cousins who are like adopted, that were watching it. So I never really truly paid any attention to it. But I was discovered by Gilbert, and if anyone, I guess Gilbert Goldberg, but Gilbert, which is Dwayne Gill, and it just so happened that my ex and our mutual friend, his little brother loved wrestling, so I was at an Impact show in Maryland, and I had no idea what I was watching. I didn't understand it, so I was discovered there by Gilbert, and I started, over at Gilbert's Pro Wrestling Academy for about 3 months before it shut down. But during the time when I was there, within that 3 month span, I ended up meeting Dan McDevitt, who he's the owner of MCW. And that's where, like Leo Rush and all that jazz. So it was definitely out of the norm because I grew up with parents and family that didn't really watch wrestling, if that makes any sense. But it
Mhm.
was so different and unique, from the lifestyle that I was brought into, and I wanted to try it. Like I grew up with martial arts and I wanted to get into acting and do stunts and everything. But because I grew up in martial arts, I think it helped me a lot with my wrestling. So when Gilbert was me to get into wrestling, he was very determined. He even found me on social media when I kept telling him no. I was like, "You're a stalker," but I caved in. I gave it a try, and I caught the wrestling bug from there. And I wanted to challenge myself, as well as getting in. Like obviously, I kind of got like the green eye monster from a lot of people. They're like, "Well, you weren't a wrestling fan, and you didn't grow up in wrestling, or you weren't born in it. So what are you doing here?" So
Mhm.
like, I'm used to that type of like mentality from others, but I get even more kick and an enjoyment of proving them wrong.
So this is one question that we got from one of our viewers even before we hopped on the show, Renee. So being like racially ambiguous, do you find, because I have like Sarah also did a lot of interviews at the beginning of Women's Wrestling Talk, and she would talk about
Mhm.
experiences there. People didn't know that she's part black, and they would have the wildest conversations in front of her, and she would say, she would correct them. So what has been your experience as far as, people not necessarily knowing what your background is?
Well, it's kind of silly because it's like, we're in a country that's very diverse. So obviously there's like a lot of mixing and everything around. Yeah.
Hmm.
Growing up, it was a very taboo, for a white woman and a black, and a black man to be together. But, my parents, they solely fall in love. So because, not because of the color of their skin, but, you know, like, MLK always said, kind of their character and everything.
Hmm.
And because of them two, and granted, they never married because times were different back then, they were able to have me and my brothers. And like I also have like older siblings, which is two older sisters, and I don't really speak too much about my family because I like to keep my personal life private.
I get it. Hmm.
Like what you see is Renee Michelle the wrestler, not Renee Michelle Curtin, the actual individual, so it's no one's
Hmm.
it's other than my own. But growing up, it was very tough for being like, biracial, multiracial, because it's like you weren't black enough, but yeah, you weren't white enough, or you weren't Latin enough. So you're like in this whirlwind of like, where do I fit in and how can I fit in? And then you kind of like, um, for it's hard. And it's like, my uncle, who's like an African American male, he's he had to have like conversation with me because he has a daughter who's going through these type of like emotions, and it's hard for her to fit in because she's biracial. or multiracial. So she is trying to figure out who and what she is, but I had to tell him it does not matter like what color you are, as long as you're not like climbing up the walls and you're having like 8 heads sticking on your coming out of you.
Mm-hmm.
It does not matter. Like what really, I feel like a lot of people, they're so comfortable putting people in a category based on color or based on what they deem a stereotype of what a black male, black woman, what it's really silly, because if you look at all ethnic of women of color, we all come in different shapes, different sizes, different hair textures, different everything, So
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people are ignorant to the fact that um we come in all different forms. It's not just one type of stereotype that people think, women or men should in their mindset look like.
Yeah. I have
So
a question.
yeah.
I think that's a very valid point. And also, I think that I don't know if you guys feel the same, but in wrestling, I feel like kind of so in the not when is the beginning, whatever, but before there was multiple different types of black women on one show,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
it kind of seemed like we got one, maybe two, we're good. And I think that there's been an opening of like, okay, just like I can have 10 brunettes, I can have 10 different black people. Like, like it's not, I feel like it changed like that, but do you guys think it did, or do you think it's kind of still like at a stalemate?
It's a hit or miss.
I think it's broadening up more, and
Yeah.
and I'm happy because it's about time. Because that question still lingers on for me. Like, I know there's more out there. Come on now, I know they're behind the curtain, and now
Mm-hmm.
that it's broadening up more, I want to see more of us. Like more of us working,
Mm-hmm.
more of us on commentary, more of us just even behind the camera, more behind the scenes. Like, it doesn't always have to be in the ring. More referees that are black. Like, where are you?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, we definitely have like, with WWE, we have like Aja, he,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
like I'm really happy and very proud of her. Um, yeah, it's just times are very different. Times are changing and,
Mm-hmm.
it change. And, some people, they're very open up to the mindset of that. And some people not so much, but,
Mm-hmm.
times are changing and I think it's really changing for the good. I think, like I said, like growing up, it was definitely hard because you're trying to figure out where can you fit in or where you could be accepted,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Oh yeah.
as like yeah, you hear like stories about like well, you're lighter skin or red bone, so you're going to be treated better. Well, no, not necessarily either, because not only that I get crap on this side, but I'm also getting crap on this side, so it's
Yeah.
like I'm getting double whammy, or triple whammy.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like, what are you talking about? Like, but everybody's story is different. And I
Mm-hmm.
think everybody can have a sad story. It's up to the individual how the way they want to live that life and change it. Either you could change it for the good or you could change it for the worse.
And so speaking of the worst, I like you said, Renee, the times are changing. Like the gone are the days, or the days are improving where we are seeing more. We're seeing more women, and we're also seeing women of color. And you're seeing bigger promotions adapted. I feel like the indie promotions have been, but now you're seeing kind of the bigger promotions adapt it. But as far as one thing that you kind of see them kind of dip back into, some of those stereotypes. Sometimes I don't know if let me know if you guys feel this. There's sometimes where I see some stuff and I'm like, they're amping up that stereotype and that makes me upset. However, I do know people like that. And I think for me, it's just like, because I know people like that, I don't necessarily see a problem. But if you don't know people like that, and now this is all you're seeing, that's where I kind of get like nervous, because like I don't want somebody to take that stereotype and then apply it to everybody. And that's, me worrying about everybody else, which I know I shouldn't. But how do you feel Black women in particular are being portrayed in wrestling right now?
As far as being stereotyped, I mean,
Yeah.
it sucks because there's a stereotype. Because I mean, that's like saying like, oh, like all white people are racist. Not necessarily, like what are you talking about? Or trying to say like that stereotype, all Asian drivers are bad drivers. Like, no. So I think they're so used to like maybe how Hollywood portrayed movies and shows, like bro, we could talk about like, Malibu's Most Wanted to Friday, like there's some stereotypes that people can or cannot relate to. Just like with movies, some people could find it funny, some people could find it very offensive. It really depends on the individual, but also there's a positive and negative to those stereotypes.
What do you think, Vanity?
For me, I think stereotypes, they're just always gonna be there. And what sucks is that, always your home fed is the place where you always feel protected. You know what I mean? And that's where it starts off at sometimes. And that's what you just have to take the negative and see what you could do with it. Because that's where it will test you. It's always at home where it tests you, where you're comfortable, So what I love though is like as I was trying to find my sisters, I got to find my brothers too. And those were the ones that really kept me strong. Were my brothers like Tim and like Cedric Alexander, like, yo, just keep going. Just keep going. I see what you're doing, and I'm gonna give you real criticism, like, take out this move or take out that or try this. And it's like, man, my brothers, not that I'm bashing anybody, but my brothers at my home fed don't even do this. Like, we're really sticking together. And, we don't have to talk every day, but I appreciate the love, the real love, the tough love that I don't even give myself. You know what I'm saying? So being stereotyped, it's always going to be there. Like, I remember even trying to do a theme song or like an entrance song. And I'm like, let me try Rihanna, because Rihanna was hot back then with, throw it up, throw it up. I was like, let me try that. But I was really into rock music. I love Slipknot. I love Korn. I love, Limp Bizkit. I love Linkin Park. And I'm like, if I come out to this music, they're gonna love the music, but they're gonna be like, oh, there's some little black girl coming out.
It's kind of like you can't come out to what you actually would listen to because what people are expecting you to act like. But how come you can't listen to Slipknot and just be black? That's exactly what you are. You're a black person that likes rock. Why can't you also be that?
Yeah, for sure. And I was just like, okay, I'm 22 right now. And it's like in reality, in my personal life, I'm trying to find myself, and I'm trying to find myself again in wrestling. So how am I going to do this? How am I going to put it together? Who can I go to? And it all clicked when I just didn't care anymore. Like, I was just like, I'm going to be me. It's just going to come out. So, I got support, and it felt beautiful to be myself. It felt beautiful to just wait. The love is going to come. Your family's going to come. They're going to come. You know what I mean? You have to have like love for yourself and know who you are. You're not crazy. You're not weird. Like, just be yourself. And it's going to take time. Love takes time.
Yeah. You're into rock. So.
Yeah. I feel like with, say, the women on TV being portrayed, for instance, I feel like there definitely were times where Trinity definitely I feel like we all could slip into different types of codes, period. You know what I mean? Wherever you are, it's just going to happen. So you could tell that it was a little forced,
Yeah.
And, when Bianca first was doing the like, girl, like the first one was like super organic, it seemed, but then it seemed like they were like, do it and times it by 10. You know how they're like, take your personality and do it by 10. And then it seemed kind of like, okay. But it kind of seemed like they probably talked to them as well, because now they both sound normal. And I think, however they're being portrayed, say the Knockers, like that's when you look on their Instagram, I feel like it reflects like that. It seems like they're being more authentic with who they are versus like, like I didn't wear gold bangles growing up. So if I were to wear them in a show, I would definitely be in character. You know what I mean? But looking back at their stuff, like, okay, they're all lining up. Or even like Jade on AEW, like I've met her in person and I feel like she talks like normal, as she talks on TV. I've met Brandy Rhodes, and she talks. I feel like she would be like me. Like we grew up in the suburbs. We could slip into whatever. I like her, but I also feel like she, for instance, the promo like just no black woman. I don't correct me if I'm wrong. Would ever say they're a black bitch. Like nobody would say that. You'd be like, I'm a bitch, right? Or like, oh hey
Yeah,
Kiera,
the black part. Hey,
Hi.
Kiera.
hey,
I mean,
Hi,
maybe,
everyone.
maybe if
how
you're
you
in
doing?
the hood, like I have been in the hood, and like I have seen some women talk like that, but it's like I can't imagine Brandy,
Like who cleared that? Who was in the back like run it? I wanted to be on side
Sometimes
in the
it
back
comes
like
out,
no.
you have one of those moments.
Where are you headed,
And that,
Kiera?
I'm going back home to Tampa. I just came from Miami.
Okay.
Kiera.
I know you got some tacos.
We did get that was the first thing we got when we got there was some tacos.
oh goodness. So we're talking about just experiences being black and female in the industry, all from the goods and the bads. And I've seen, and I don't know how much you can talk about that. It's just kind of what people have asked you to be versus like did all of you guys, as far as character wise, decide this is the route I'm going to go, or did people kind of say no, this is what I think you should go, not necessarily for the best of your character, but more based on the color of your skin?
Ooh, good.
Good
I
question.
don't think so. Not for me. Like going into like Impact. I mean, when I first started, like I don't feel like I was completely myself. Like I felt like they were making me just this baby face. But I feel like people would assume because of the music that I had, they were gonna get a white girl. Because literally, like it wasn't me at all. Like I felt like I was just put in this kind of mold, and I wasn't truly being myself until recently, honestly.
And I feel like you got backlash from evolving into yourself and then people saying like that's not how she was before. And it's like you were so young coming in. Everyone finds herself in their early 20s and then or even feels comfortable being their self on camera, that it's like we were just talking about how black women could we're all different types of hats, all different types of cultures and everything. And it's weird when people say one way or the other.
Yeah, because they truly don't even know exactly who I am or what I'm going through or what even brought me to this. Like me coming out helped me find myself even more. Like I felt way more comfortable being myself, especially on TV. Like I felt like I said, I was put in this mold and I was trying to be something that I wasn't truly. Like I was kind of that, but not really. I wasn't truly comfortable even being in my own skin and representing whatever it is I was trying to represent. So it took me a while to find that. I didn't find it until like I said, a couple of years ago. So, I mean, it takes time. It takes a certain amount of time for anybody to like truly be comfortable with themselves.
Yeah.
And it is an ongoing process too. I feel like everybody has a different reiteration of like life. Like you go through something and you grow. You go through something and grow. And just the good and bad of social media is that we choose to and kind of have to grow in front of social media, and then people want to go 5 years back and say, well, you said this. I'm like, but I'm a different person now. Like
Exactly.
can you let me be me?
Yeah, or half the stuff I was saying,
We've
like
all had to go back and delete some stuff. Ugly old bitch. Like, oh, women empowerment. Women empowerment.
Oh my goodness.
But Renee Michelle, I'm laughing because I heard you right before Kiera popped in. He's like, I don't know, because I've been to the hood and a couple of women have.
oh yeah,
That was funny.
one day I'll tell my story. It's just not one day I'll tell.
But we can move on, but that was funny.
So one question that I'm always about, because I deal with this on a regular basis, is hair. And I deal with it more on, I've had people where I've been on shows where it's like, can we change your, I'm like, yeah, no, unless you're paying for it, no. But I'm also just standing in front of a camera. But you guys wrestling, like when I see hair getting pulled, like that hurts my heart. So please, if you can remove the curtain and just let me know first off, like how you decide on like, okay, this is the hairstyle. Do you have conversations with the person you're wrestling with? Like this is what I'll allow, this one I won't allow. Just tell me about your hair experience. Cause that's one question. Like I'm like, because it hurts my heart sometimes when I see it.
I have a funny story about that.
Well, with the hair hair experience, so me, like I have my mother's hair. I don't have like, my father's hair that's like the thick and, unfortunately I have my mother's hair that's like very fine and, soft, like baby soft. And Kiera, like she's seen like, what my hair like look like and everything.
Mhm.
So it was really like I can't even get a perm. Like if I get a perm, my hair's gonna fall out of my head. So that's how like how much
Fine
like I
it
have
is.
mother's hair. So when I got into wrestling, they go like, "Oh, you gotta have longer hair to look more feminine," and this and the third, and blah blah blah. And like I tried to weave, and I regretted it since. Because little that I did not know about weaves, fine hair and weaves do not mix. So obviously that did like a damage, a toll onto my hair, and then I had to like do like my short hair for a little bit until it grew out. Then I did the tape extensions. God forbid. I remember one time I wrestled Nyla Rose and she sat on the tape extensions and my hair and tape extensions went with it completely. And I'm like, oh my God, because I have feathery, light, soft hair. But now because of Kiera, she like got me into like the lace wig and everything, and because of that, I think that suited more so for my hair. Because now my hair is like all the way in the middle of my back, and I'm loving it. So my husband, he absolutely loves my hair. He loves touching it and everything. But I grew up with the saying is like, don't let people touch your head. Whatever like bad juju or whatever, you don't want it on your head. And I'm a firm believer of that. I don't like people touching my head. And, that's why, like, thank God for the lace wigs or whatever. Because if it wasn't for that, then I probably still continue on with the weaves, which is bad for my hair. But because of, like, the lace wigs, that Kiera, like, hooked me on to, my hair have grown, my hair have flourished, my hair is, like, down to the middle of my back. My husband, he loves it. Every time, like, I'm ready to, like, wash my hair or whatever, so he always wants to touch it. Like his mother tried to touch my hair, and James had to tell his mom, like, don't be touching her hair. Like I'm like, I only let my husband touch my hair, but okay, mom, But it's I guess like I'm still learning about like because I have like a mixture, like I have like soft, but it's like curly, so like one of those like spiral like curls. So it's like trying to figure it out, but because of like the lace wig, like my hair was able to flourish. But I love it. I could turn into like a different. If he wanted a blonde, I'd give him a blonde. If he wanted a red,
I know that's right, Renee.
all types of different characters for you. I got you, honey.
Man,
What
I've
was
had
your
a
funny
crazy
story,
experience.
Kiera?
So I've had crazy experiences with my hair. Obviously, y'all know I done been through I don't know how many different hair colors in my wrestling career, but growing up, I always wanted to be a redhead. I thought redhead, as Renee has red hair, I always wanted to be a redhead. So I dyed my real hair. I started getting weaves. It wasn't really working out because I was dyeing my hair, and then I found wigs, but I went through a lot of trial and error with wigs and how to do it because lace glue wasn't a real thing. So I've had a wig pulled off at a show. Girl walked out with it on her back. Like I've had some crazy experiences, like clip-ins coming out, but
Yeah.
like Renee said, finding lace wigs was like something that was like it was a whole new world for me because like she said, you could literally color it whatever you want, you can get whatever style you want, and it protects your hair. I struggle with my natural hair. Like I said, I've dyed it, I've done so many things to it, and it's the healthiest it's been in my adult life, I think, because of wigs. So I mean, like she said, like I feel like that is a kind of like stereotypical thing for women, especially in wrestling, back in the day when they were like longer hair is sexier and things like that. But I love girls with short hair like Rhea Ripley and like Ruby Soho and things like that. And I don't think it shouldn't have been such a precious thing to get long hair. But I'm hairstyles just go through ideas, make people like my character. But
Sounds like we're driving through the mountains.
Yeah, you're breaking up a little bit. This is pause. Vanity, how'd you feel with you coming in with short hair? Did you feel there was like a pressure of what you should look like?
Yeah, I had a lot of pressure. I mean, like I said, I was the only girl at PWS, which is Wrestle Pro now, and we didn't have much girls in the school, so I had to go based on what I was seeing, you know, like girls from Women of Honor or even girls that were like on other independent scenes, you know what I mean? I was just like, okay, I could tell this one has extensions or this one has a wig, but the guys really wanted me to put a wig on or like, you know, just do something with my hair. And I was just like, not if you're paying, you got to pay for that.
That
Listen,
part.
I'm not going to spend so much money on some hair that's going to be ripped out by another guy because there wasn't really girls flowing in so much at that time. Like we had Bombshells, but then they like dismissed Bombshells. So it was just me being a valet. So I was just like, you guys got to pay for it. No. And then I would at that time I was putting the fashion into wrestling as well. So my influences didn't have hair. My influences were Amber Rose, Rihanna, and Grace Jones. And
Oh, yes.
yeah, and I was just like, I'm not changing that part. And I was a dancer. Like when I started wrestling, I was a dancer. I'm not gonna even lie. And girls at the clubs were just like, "Oh, you gotta do something with your hair, girl." And I'm just like, "No, this is who I
So
am."
when you say dancer, are you talking about like
Yeah, all
okay.
that. Oh,
Okay.
all
All
that.
right.
Yeah,
All
Cardi
right.
B, all that.
All right, that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, and
Make your money, boo.
yeah,
That part.
yeah. You know, it was the nightlife. It was very fun. I was young, but I just had to have my own look, and I couldn't fake it. And for me to transition that into wrestling, uh, it came easy. Honestly, I can't bullshit myself. I don't know if we're allowed to curse on this, but I couldn't be fake anymore. I couldn't do it. Like there was a couple months where I was just like, let me try this, let me try that. It just didn't work out. You know what I mean? So I kind of like the hair. I love just like Renee said, we
I
come
like
in
it.
different shapes, sizes, even
Yeah.
moods, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I used to wear my hair like short, like Victoria Beckham, and then Holly Berry from Catwoman, and I absolutely love that style. I remember like from all the damages that like tape extensions and the weave have done. I did like the big chop, and my husband saw it. He's
Yeah.
like, "You look like my mother." Like I was like, "Oh, like I have like the mom haircut, the short back, kind of like long in the front."
The hot auntie.
The hot,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But you know, like it kind of like threw James off for a loop because he's so used to seeing me like with the extensions, and he thought it was like my real hair. For like the longest time until like I came home one day and like did the big chop because I'm like, I need to get this healthy. This is not it.
Mm-hmm.
Cute. But
So do you guys what were you gonna say, Renee?
before like I even did any of like those extensions, my hair was like curly, like my shoulder. It's just when I did the extensions, it did a number and it was like shredded, like it was bad. And I'm like, oh no.
So, with that being said, do you guys think now, as far as hair is concerned, less promotions are asking for the long? Like they're more accepting of whatever you want to, whatever you want to do with your hair, or is promotions? I'm seeing like a dog. Okay, okay, we have the dog in there. Are more promotions kind of more accepting, or are some of them still like we want to see the long hair?
I guess it really depends on the individual, like you have Vanny here, she's sexy and everything, and she's rocking like the short hair look. And some guys are really into like that edgy short hairstyle. You have Kiera that's rocking the braids and everything. And you have a group of men that actually desires that. Here's me with a colorful fucking am I just allowed to cut? I mean, here's me with a colorful lace or whatever, and us to like change like different colors. It like which person you want. You want a blonde? You want a brunette? You want
Yeah. Yo,
I
I feel
don't
like
know if
men now are
anybody
so
or
accepting.
fox? Like I got you.
has anybody ever asked you guys specifically to change your hair, because I feel like it's more so, I don't know, I've never heard a promoter ask like, oh, I want you to look like this, but you just notice, oh, they're booking that person and that's what that person looks like, so maybe if I throw my hair differently. Or have you been specifically asked like, hey, can you switch it up?
For me, only in the beginning when I started off. Like when I was just managing, they asked me to wear a wig, and I was just like, no, you put it on. I don't know where it came out of. That's the black that came out of me. But I was just like, no, because at that time, I didn't see that many girls like us to even experience to see like what it would look like. Like I remember looking at matches, and I did see Kiera, and I was like, yo, her hair looks hot. That's awesome. I saw Aja, and I'm like, wow, she's going all natural. Like they're down south. Why am I up here by myself? And then I saw Big Swole, and I was like, oh, another one. That's so amazing. Okay. All right, we can do this. No, I'm not wearing it. I'm not doing it. We're good. So it's beautiful to see like a whole category, a whole plethora of us in our own comfortable being. And we don't have to, I don't get asked anymore.
Yeah, I love Big Swole's hair, and I love her like attitude and everything. Like I remember when she was talking about like locking her hair up because she was sick of braids and sick of like just changing it and having to do stuff to it. So she was like, I'm gonna lock my hair, and it looks so cute on her. Oh my god. But I don't feel like I've never had anybody tell me like I need you to change your hair or I need you to go longer. I've always just done my own thing when it came to my head and my look. Ashley was one of the people that put me on to wigs at one point for a sponsor. And then my funny story about my wig, since I didn't get to that, my first AEW was an elevation show, and I wrestled Sheeta. Well, I had a fresh wig. I had just gotten it done. It was beautiful. It was my first time going red and blue, and Sheeta didn't know my hair was a wig, and I didn't tell her beforehand because, I assume that people already know, but I never worked Joshi before. Well, I take that back. Yes, I have, but I just didn't tell her. So when we were in the match, we were going at it. We were going hard, whatever. Sheeta goes to pull my hair, and I just hear rip, and I was like, So when I got to the back, I remember hearing it rip, but I thought it was my thread in the back just ripping because I get my wig sewn down in the back, so just in case anything happens. And I went to like check my hair or my curls or whatever, and I went to feel, and I was like, oh my god, my lace had like a hole in it. She had ripped my hair, like pulled it so hard that the lace had ripped, and I was like, oh my god. And then I told Sheeta because she didn't know. She's like, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean. I was like, no, it's okay, I didn't tell you. And of course, I don't think you would have known that, honestly. So I was like, it's okay, like it happened.
That's 250 right
like,
there.
I'm saying, I was like, this is a fresh wig.
Oh my gosh, that makes my heart hurt.
You have to tell people beforehand. Oh man, that hurt my heart. I was like, girl.
I was worried when Tina San Antonio was pulling your hair at Shine, Renee. I was like, ah! But I was like, oh, that thing was on. Okay.
Yeah, it's down.
That thing is on.
Yeah, but also on top of that, when Tina was like pulling my hair, like I was holding, like like I'd rather bend my
you
back.
Gotta grab hold of that wrist.
Yeah, I'd rather bend my back grip. Like, I'm
don't
flexible.
Yank me, grip. Don't yank me.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, like look, this is like $900. No.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't pull this.
Yeah, that's why it makes my heart hurt. But now, yeah, I mean, I love seeing so many different hairstyles. Like, there's at one point you just saw, okay, she's black, it's long black hair, but now you're seeing colors, now you're seeing different cuts. Like, it's amazing to see that. So, yeah, it's and then you see other people's characters, because not everybody can do or wants to do the long hair. Not everybody wants to do the short hair. So it's really nice to see, you putting your I want to say stank in it, your personality in it.
Yeah.
But
I remember seeing Kiera, I'm not gonna lie, I'm obsessed with your hair, girl. I almost broke the TV. Like, yo, I think I want a wig now. I should have got the wig back then. I should have had them pay for it and just play
wigs
with it.
Wigs done come a long way, let me tell you. Wigs have come a very long way, because they didn't always used to be like this. But you know what's funny? Like, I've wrestled with my afro a couple of times, and honestly, I've gotten so many more compliments on my afro than I think my crazy hair colors. Like, people love my afro. Even when I post about it, post my transformation makeup videos, people love my afro, and I'm like, I mean, it doesn't really go with the hottest flame, but I guess like I'll do it every now and then and like surprise people. But people love my afro, and I think that's great.
Yeah, I love it. You look like a baby doll.
I look like a kid. I don't even look my age. I look like I'm 12.
But also on top of that, it also helps like prevent me from having to dye my hair. Because I like I'm rocking on kind of like a red ginger, like Jessica Rabbit type of look. And it's like instead of like having my hair being damaged with the hairspray and the flat irons and all the other jazz, I could do that with the wig and let my hair flourish.
Yep. Whew, man, yeah. Power to you guys, because that's a whole situation right there. Now, before we get out of here, where do you hope? So we've come a far way. Where do you hope Black women in particular, and like Black women in particular, and Black women in particular? I said that kind of wrong. Where do you hope we're gonna evolve to? Like the experiences. Just what are your hopes?
To get in more position of power.
Sorry.
No, sorry.
Go ahead, Renee. Go ahead, honey.
No, it's okay. To get in more position of power, like we're steady, slowly but surely, like coming up, up the chain, from wrestlers to referees to office, and hopefully we have, hopefully I will, recently I think now like there's like, a woman from DC that's like running her own promotion. I think Schwol was on that, so I absolutely love that. I absolutely love the idea.
I was gonna piggyback off of that. I was just like, I hope we become like owners of promotions like overseas. Like we upped it. We're not even in America. You want to be on our stuff,
Yeah.
And like just helping us, helping our people, just helping everybody, even branching off into the beauty business. You know what I mean? There's so many tips out there. I'm just like, I know newcomers have so many questions. Just being ourselves, continuing to be ourselves.
Yeah, I think it's just I love the empowerment that's going on. I definitely think there should be more empowerment of Black women, because other girls are catty. People like I have said things about my hair because somebody did this, somebody stole this from me. But I think we should uplift each other definitely more so. And honestly, I need to see more diversity, because there's so many talented Black athletes on the indies that deserve a fucking chance. I'm sorry, but the diversity needs to be there. It needs to be more than just, a couple here and a couple there. Like, really give us a shot at that top spot, because we deserve it and we work our asses off for it. So I definitely think the empowerment needs to be 100 times better.
Definitely. I think overall in women's wrestling, people should just really stop with the body shaming. It should really it's just absurd that, because it's picked and choose. Like, it's all bad. But you could still have like two people that are whatever, and they could just pick and choose which one they're going to bully or not. So it's like, just stop. Everyone's different, just based off talents and capabilities. That's what I think.
I remember when I was doing the whole 24/7 segment with my husband, and because I put on a little bit of weight, and I was also getting over from like being injured too. Let's just say I gained about 5-10 pounds, and someone asked me, was I pregnant? And I'm like,
oh my God.
Like,
stop asking people if they're pregnant.
$130, and just because I decided to gain like $140, you're asking me, am I pregnant? Like, can I just be me? Can I just be happy? Like, if I wanted a churro or a turkey leg, let me be me.
Yeah, no, my weight has definitely fluctuated, but I'm still gonna do that photo shoot. We're still gonna make that money, and I'm still working out. I'm still healthy, so like, I embraced my thickness. I'm not gonna lie. I've had criticism where it was just like, "Hey, you could," and I'm like, "Yeah, I could, but we still booked. You're still talking to me." Like, and you know what? I even see that criticism as tough love. Like, you know what? We all go through stuff, and we have our little times of the month too. It's not just eating, but I'm gonna eat this donut, and I'm gonna still be in the gym. And you know what? Mentally, I know where I gotta go, but right now we're right now, you know?
Mm-hmm. Ooh, you were the
Yeah.
word, a Sunday word on a
Okay.
Monday. Okay.
Well,
Like
I'm gonna go eat my cupcake.
Right.
my
Oh my
husband
gosh.
loves my curves, so he thinks my body's perfect to him. So
Right.
he does not mind if I gain some pounds. You know, he doesn't want me to get too skinny though. So
Yeah.
he,
It's always nice to have something in your corner like that.
yeah.
Yo,
You're
it's
yelling, "Stop
amazing.
lying to me! I'm fat." He's like,
Stop.
"Ugh."
It's
You're
amazing
like,
how you embrace the word thickness too. I remember when Aja was saying athletic, and I was like,
yeah, that was so difficult. Athletic.
yeah. And I'm
That
just
was
like,
good.
look how far we've come, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Look how far we've come, and I'm just waiting for the next trend. I'm like, what is it?
Yeah.
It's
That's
Yeah.
true.
unbelievable.
I mean,
Definitely the
all
trendsetters.
different shapes. Like, you know, some men, they like women that's a pair. Some women like the model stick body or whatever. I mean, not women, but some men, you know, even like the tomboy type of body. And some men,
Yeah.
you know, they like the hour shaped glass. It's like, you know, it's like flavor of ice cream. You know,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
whatever. Yeah,
it's
whatever
each
works for you.
girl. Not
I
everybody.
want one of all of them in my cup.
Yeah. You know, like I said, you the ripest, juiciest peach in the world, and not everyone like ripe, juicy peaches. You know, it's okay.
There it is. One last question. This is more a PTSD thing for me, so I just want to get other people's opinion. So Naomi's storyline for the last couple weeks, very Karen-esque, I feel. Um, do you guys feel like it's been done on purpose, or is it people just not knowing, the environment? Because it just, I mean, out of all the storylines that's out there, um, this one is just kind of like it's not. I'm not a fan of it. So I just kind of wanted to get you guys' take as wrestlers in the industry. Like, is this something that you would see and you're like, nah, I'm good, or would it be like what's your feelings on it?
You know what? I'm not a fan of it right now, but this is what I see with me in pro wrestling. Sometimes I'm not a fan of something right now, and I'll go back to it later and be like, oh, you know what? I should have probably gave it a try. Because my eye is different compared to like a regular person watching wrestling. Like I go back to storylines to be like, I don't like it now, but maybe later I will. But right now, I'm on the same boat with you. But I see it through her perspective, as it is a job. She's trying to go out there and do her thing too. But it's not clicking with me right now. But you know what I do? I was gonna say something about her hair too. I love the pigtails with the barrettes that
Yes.
she
Mm-hmm.
has. It made me feel like a little girl watching that. But yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I feel like it's definitely, I think they know the climate of the world and they're just, talking, basically putting current events into a storyline, I feel. Um, and, a lot of people have to look at it like, my check is not changing. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So most people don't care what is going on, honestly. But
That
it
part.
is kind of like, I think it went longer than I was expecting. Like, okay, well,
Mm-hmm.
damn, when is it going to end? When is But I liked everything that happened, like, towards the end once it all, like, caught up. But honestly, I think everybody's probably just like, I got TV time and my check is good.
I mean, I feel like I think I said this on the show before. It's like I like the fact that she's getting TV time, because at one point she wasn't, but she's way more talented that they could have gave her TV time for something else. I think
You could
that's
say
where
that
my
about like 100 of them there. Like, if
true.
you watch
Yeah.
back, like, everybody there on the indies, or if they were, or even something they could do in the training camp that they're not,
Mhm.
haven't done on TV, But
Yeah.
it definitely is Karen-esque. But I think it's like, that's what's happening. I'm an actor. I get scripts, and it's like, sometimes my husband was like, "Whoa, that was a little racy," and I'm like, "Well, that is what happens in real life, and then this is a movie about some effed up crap, and that's just reality."
Oh my, I was gonna say this as well too. I remember starting off, of course, with PWS, and I had to be a valet for this guy, and I wanted to keep my identity as a dancer, over there. And I told the boys because they were like my brothers, and
Or
yeah, word got out, and they actually brought that character from the club over here. And we had another Black girl named Q who actually just hit me up last week. But this was like 8 years ago, 9 years ago. And they made us into like some little Funkadactyls thing. And I was so livid because we had so many ideas to put out there. You know what I mean? They wanted us to tag, and we finally have another girl that's Black. You know, I'm happy right now. And they made us like do some things, guys. And looking back at being in that situation, like, I wouldn't say it sucked, but it did. But like, it made me grow, and like, I don't know. I'm just happy like we came a long way, girls. The stuff that like people don't see just like really builds up your character in real life too. But
Hey,
MJ,
yeah,
Hey, everyone.
finally it happened.
Oh my gosh. It's been the struggle for real. I was just like, okay, let me leave home, go to a cafe. I went to a cafe, it's still not working. I'm like, let me just try my 4G phone. Boom.
Nice.
Well, thank you for trying, because I would have given up. I've been like, all right, it's not working.
Right? I didn't want to miss this discussion. It's very important. I'm just like, here I am. Yeah.
But
Well, before we get out of here, let's do a 5 minutes with MJ. So we were just talking about experiences being Black women in the industry, and so can you take, because you've been with different. If y'all don't know MJ, look her up, because there's not that type of thing right now. It's not type of panel, but you've switched up your hair. You've done a lot of stuff. You've been with different promotions. So what's your experience being a Black woman in the industry?
I can say it's very it demands a lot of you, right? I feel like it's very demanding, and it's very it can be challenging, and then also it feels like you have like almost like a chip on your shoulder, because you have to represent, and so you want to do your best and be your best, because for so long it's like if you do something, it represents like everybody, you know what I'm saying? So I take a lot of pride in being a part of that, and in representing for us. So but I also feel like it's definitely a blessing, because I woke up and what did God make me? A Black woman. And I think it's really like just it's a really great experience, even though I feel like we do have to, of course, I'm sure somebody already said it, work extremely harder than anybody, than everyone else. And the thing is, I've realized that even me or us at like 50% is still 100% compared to anything else. So it's just I always try to do my best. Well, I always do my best, and I always focus on improving. Like I never stay just one way just because it's this or that. You learn the business, and and you learn what works for you, and you stay true to that without compromising yourself. And I think that's what's most important to do, especially being a Black woman in this business.
And I know I said this already, but this is the last question.
Okay.
In the entertainment industry, there is colorism. That's still a thing. It's not as bad as it used to be, 10 years ago. Is that something that you guys experience in the wrestling industry, as far as you look at something that you thought you would have been perfect at, but somebody who's also Black, just a different hue, got that? Is that something that you experience, or that's not as much in the industry?
That might be happening on TV, but
is that question for me or for everybody? I don't know if
everybody.
I have dealt with that, and as people actually got to know me, they're like, because like the moment I walk, whatever, obviously that's the way how I look. You're gonna get, you're gonna get my monster. It's unfortunate. I'm just like, there are some pretty girls that are very snooty and snobbish, and and then there's some that's like myself, who's really chill and laid back, and wait, but It's just I think not all pretty girls are mean, you know.
What do you think, MJ, about colorism?
Well, I say it's really real and it still exists. I've definitely experienced it with a lot of things that I've done. And other people have called it out because there's times where I would just keep quiet because it would like be bottled inside, but other people could tell. I would say I've experienced it by me doing certain things. If someone else would do it, they would get more recognition for it. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Like they will get more praise for it and then get more opportunities for it. And it's just some people in certain companies still treat you like, okay, but you're the, you know, darker Black girl versus the more lighter one that is more it's better for commercial, I suppose, for them and business wise for them. So that does put like a stinger in it. I feel like a lot of times when that happens, people always say, oh, well, you have still gotten ahead, you got plenty of opportunities and things are different. And it's like, yeah, but it's not enough.
Mm-hmm.
It's not enough. And just because, I feel like a lot of times there's been the one Black girl at a time thing a lot that I've experienced. And I noticed like more women have getting opportunities, but it's not like equal level. There's always I do feel like we need to stop with the whole, like she's all right, she's Black, put her in the back. That still kind of happens. So I do think that's something that could be worked on for sure.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because when stuff like that happens, then you have, the lighter skinned Black chick or the darker skinned guy going out with each other versus the actual individual that made up that idea, let's just say voter, for example, or whatever.
Right.
Like, no, you're the one who did that. You're having us argue and when it shouldn't even be that case. So now you planted that seed.
Well, we can go on for a whole nother hour, but I don't want to take you all. And I think people who are watching it who don't know, I think this is a really great base for them to start off with, because I think people just think, yeah, y'all just wrestling. There's so much more as with everything in life. There's just so much more behind the curtain that I feel like people should at least know exists. Because sometimes, people will speak out and other folks will be like, I didn't know they felt that way. So I feel like, we put it out there so people can know. And, we keep shining. Like you guys are so amazing. Thank you guys for coming on. And then let's give everybody your social media where everybody can find you. So we'll start with Renee first.
You can find me on Twitter, it's Lady RM, and also, no, I'm sorry, take it back. You can find me on Instagram with Lady RM. I'm sorry, it's a work day. And you can also find me on Twitter, which is one Renee Michelle.
And then Vanity?
You can find me or Google me just at WrestleBay, anything WrestleBay all day, every day.
And then MJ?
You can find me at real MJ Jenkins _ on Instagram and Twitter. And
my co-host, Miss Ayla.
Hello. You could catch me at Ayla the Fox on Twitter and Instagram.
And then thank you guys. And then also on the scroll, you forgot to promote your own show.
I was about to say, no, that's
okay, my bad.
I saw little minutes winding down, but on the scroll of Ayla, episode 20 just dropped today. So after you're done watching that, head on over to Women's Wrestling Talk, Twitter and Instagram and YouTube and everything, and check out epised 20.
There it is. Yeah, you've been working hard. Ooh, the tea every week.
I know this one was juicy, honey. Turn around and hit him with that. Did you see what she posted? If you didn't, go see it. But it was good. It was good for business. She said, if you're a promoter, stop. If you're flying in a talent and you're sharing the talent, split the bill. And if you're not gonna split it, she said she blast from them.
As should be. I like it. You can follow everything with Women's Wrestling Talk, www.talkpod.com. If you haven't caught all our every day for February, we dropped an article about Black female wrestlers. So go and check that out. We had several panels this month. It's been amazing. And we also are doing that for Women's History Month. So please go and check that out. You can follow us on all social media at WWTalkPod, and you can follow me on everything at TK Trinidad. Thank you again, ladies, for coming on.
Thank
and
you so
sharing your
much,
Thank you
ladies.
for having us.
And
Thank you,
for
TK.
y'all, no problem. For y'all joining us, till next time, guys. Ciao.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on